Commanders, what a week. First, it was the great Oya sampling event, with us ready to clear the 7 remaining inner systems of Oya. Then, it was a sudden 30 new alerts, an unprecedented event that was justified narratively by FDev with a Galnet article that referenced a sort of sudden surge of ultrases coming out of the Titan, which some folks appreciated as a welcome diversion in the war and argued the war is unexpected, like this is something you should kind of like anticipate. What do you think? Like that the Titan's just going to sit still and let us kill them so easily? And some folks took as, well, that's not exactly nice as far as our Deus Ex Machina is concerned. And we would have at least appreciated some kind of narrative justification for what was going on. So opinions vary there. I think opinions also vary regardless of how invested people were in our ongoing efforts and how fair or unfair they perceive those rules changes to be. I particularly like that analogy. Like, yes, war is unexpected, but submarines don't start magically flying overnight, which is a fair analogy as far as like the mechanics of war. But again, maybe in the world of Elite Dangerous, submarines do start flying overnight, and I guess either way, that's okay. Nevertheless, this all forced our hand, and initially the reaction of most faction involved with the war was to say, there's no way we can clear 30 alerts in 1 week reliably, so let's all go and hit Oya directly. It's at high resistance. We've taken down a Titan at high resistance before. That was Tyrannus, in its second week. That was at high resistance. So if we all band together, we can do so again. And that would automatically clear all alerts. If we are able to take down the Titan in 1 week, then that not only takes the Titan down, but also clears all the alerts based on the new mechanics that have been introduced with the fall of Tyrannus. It soon became apparent that it was no small task, as in we did some of our math and we calculated that we needed no fewer than 22,000 full thermal cores, as in the equivalent of the 100% damage done to a thermal core, for us to take down Oya. And doing that in 1 week required an incredible amount of resources. The Xeno Strike Force, small, undetermined as it is, could realistically commit 500 to 600. The Anti-Xeno Initiative, which is a much bigger group, could realistically commit maybe twice as much, possibly more, if they got real organized. But nevertheless, we needed to have a serious conversation among the factions at war to decide whether hitting Oya was something that we realistically wanted to do and felt we would put our full weight behind it, or whether we had to resort to some kind of different approach. So we convened in War Council on Friday with several commanders attending from a variety of the most active factions involved in the war. It was convened on short notice, so a lot of commanders who ideally would have wanted to attend couldn't make it, but we're roped in on the heels of that through Discord and forums as part of a broader discussion. It became obvious that we did not have the forces necessary to strike we struck Tyrannus already, to strike down Oya in just 1 week. We could not muster the commitment to take down those 22,000 cores in a single week. And so we decided to take a two-pronged approach. On one hand, our sampling forces would do their best in clearing all the alerts that had spawned around Oya. And they are doing an incredible job. As of now, I believe there's something around 22 out of the 30 alerts have been cleared, noting they are the outermost, so they are the easiest ones. The 8 remaining ones are orders of magnitudes harder to clear, but we'll see how far we can get with that sampling effort. In the meanwhile, the great Oya sampling event continues. We are now, I believe, somewhere between 75 and 80% of all samples needed for all these 7 inner occupied systems, which is remarkable, and it allows us to focus pretty much exclusively on the alerts at this point in time. All the while, combat commanders focused on AX combat, should continue striking Oya. All the damage that is done at this point is permanent. There is no mechanism through which the Titan heals its hearts, and as a result, it is something that contributes to a war effort, regardless of how small those bonds may be. It is noted that the bug that results in the vents and the core being stuck persists, which means that if you're joining large instances in open or in some of our larger private groups, it is very likely that you will get into a bugged instance. If you're going to strike Oya, do so in smaller private groups. Do so in private groups of somewhere between 4, maximum 8 people. Point number 1. Point number 2, make sure that everybody has port forwarding enabled in their network settings. Network settings are accessed from the main menu only. In the main menu, so not while you're in game, while you're in your main menu of Elite, you can go to network options, and you should have the ability to enable port forwarding under Universal Plug and Play, which hopefully should be enabled. That helps a lot with connectivity among multiple commanders. And then finally, make sure that you do not have people joining or leaving the instance when you're in the process of executing a vent bombing run, as that creates major desyncs, and we suspect is one of the causes which causes the core and the vents to bug out. Stable instances where people do not leave and do not join in a relatively small group with relatively stable connections are proven. We have done it ourselves. We've been doing this for hours yesterday, and we will continue today, to be stable and, quote, bug-free. Finally, we also recommend, although this is probably more from an abundance of caution than anything else, again, we have little data on all this, for a single commander to be the designated vent bomber. So a single commander is the one actually bombing the vents. That is also something that we've anecdotally found to somewhat reduce the incidence of bugged instances. So with all that, commanders, thank you for your support in the war. We will continue our tireless efforts, both from a sampling perspective and from a combat perspective. Thanks to our allied forces, like titanic, no pun intended, efforts, the samples for these alerts have made incredible progress. And thanks to the whole community, all and every one of you, the samples for the 7 inner control systems have mostly been collected. So we, despite the setback that was thrown at us, we're still in an incredibly good position. We've been set back a week, but hopefully we won't be set back much more than that. Obviously save additional surprises, which nobody can tell in war. With that, glory to mankind. Thank you for all your help, contributions, and partnerships in this endeavor. Commander Mecken, over and out.